first thing, talking about solving quadratic functions means the highest power of your x is a 2. Okay? And so the way that one way that you can solve this by hand is to factor. And so if you test and see that you have an expression that's factorable, a trinomial that you can rewrite as binomial factors. So here, when you reverse FOIL this, the two first terms that give you x squared are x's. The last terms that give you a -6 for the product and a sum of -5 would be what? Okay, good. So you know the signs have to be opposites. Okay, so even though 2 and 3 are factors of 6, if you combine them, one would have to be positive, one would have to be negative. That's not going to give you the overall sum of -5, but -6 and +1 do. And so when you set each of these factors equal to 0, which I'm going to show on this one, but normally you'll just do it with a mental calculation. What value of x gives you a 0 here? 6. What value of x gives you a 0 here? -1. You can go through and manually solve those if you want, but those would be your two solutions. Okay. Now, you might also be asked to solve for x by using a graph. And so this is some of the stuff that starts to get a little bit new for you because you probably didn't talk too much about it, but when you're looking at the graph of a quadratic function, it's going to be a parabola. It's a U-shaped graph. It's symmetric to the left and to the right of the vertex. Okay, and so when you look at a graph, the two places where a graph intersects your x-axis, okay, are the zeros of that graph, and those correspond to linear factors, okay, in the form x minus whatever the intercept is. So when you look at this example right here, you have an x-intercept at -10 and at -11. So if you plug that into this form, x minus a -10, x minus a -11, those are your factors. Okay, now, if you double-checked up here, you would see that those are the factors, but really, you're just looking for the solutions. Okay, so the solution here, you have -10, -11. That is your answer. Again, if you were using the graph to help factor it and then set the factors equal to 0, you get the same thing. But the calculator does have a built-in solve feature. It's in this F2 Algebra tab. So if you hit F2, select solve, type in the equation exactly as it appears. So x squared minus 5x minus 6, set that equal to 0. Once you write out your entire equation, you then need to tell the calculator what you want it to solve for. You do that by placing a comma and then the variable that you want it to solve. So comma x, and then when you hit enter, it would confirm that 6 and -1 are the solutions.